Hello everyone. I am at Crawford Lake Conservation Area in the Halton region in southern Ontario. And I'm going to be doing a hike today. It's about 10 kilometers, so 5 kilometers out and about 5 kilometers back to Rattlesnake Point. But before I do that hike, there is an indigenous village here that's been reconstructed. Obviously, it's not. No one's currently living in it. There's longhouses and some other things that I'm going to take a look at. So I'll share that with you, and then I'll eventually get to the hiking portion of my little excursion today. So let's take a look. Super cool, these huge walls here made out of trees. Ndio, a Wendat greeting, the Longhouse people. The inhabitants of this village were likely ancestors of the Wendat or Attawandaron confederacies. Okay, if you want to pause the video here and read that, by all means. You can actually go inside these and I'll show you what that looks like. We walk through here. I love the shadows that the sun creates. Very cool. We'll go in one here. Wow. Very cool. There's some different hides, some antlers, some jaws, jawbones. Huh. This is a skunk. That's very cool. I'm trying to figure out, is that sunlight or is that a light? Oh, it's a light, okay. And they've got these different baskets that you put corn and other things in. These huge hides spread out here. We'll walk through. We've got a bunch of different herbs, sumac, sage, rush, hawthorn, yarrow. It's a very incredible smell in here too. Look at this. This is, oh, tobacco. That's cool. Wow. And some type of a fire pit where everyone sat around. I think there's a lot of school groups that come through here. Oh, these are some moccasins. I want a pair of these. They look exactly like this. And little tiny baby moccasins. My daughter wore these when she was a newborn. Nice leathers. What do you think that is? What does that look like to you? Some type of I don't know. I really don't know. A beaver? That's a good question. These beautiful pots. And they've got corn hanging from the ceiling and natural light coming in. Wow. That looks like it might be a deer with the white tail there, the white-tailed deer. And fish. This is the nets that they would have caught fish in with an old canoe. Very cool. Wow, wow, wow. This looks like birch. And we'll come out the other side of the longhouse. And you've got like, looks like a big giant tree, doesn't it? Wow. Very cool. A nice part about getting to conservation areas when they first open is that it's just so quiet. There's like no one here. Very peaceful. So another hack I have for you is go to the grocery store shortly after they open, and they've marked down all of yesterday's sandwiches. And so I got this croissant sandwich with ham and cheese and lettuce and tomato, and it was $3.50. You beat inflation, and it's a tasty sandwich. So I got a couple of these bad boys, bringing one with me now as we go on the trails, and then I'll have the other one when I get back. That's how you hike on a budget. Okay, I've come to the fork in the road. Straight ahead is the species at risk trail, and you can kind of see there's a wolf and there's some type of a dragonfly there, and I might do that at the end. But where I really want to go is to Rattlesnake Point, the Nasagawa Canyon Trail. Okay, so we're gonna go this way, and let's have a little bit of fun. One thing I just realized I forgot to do, which I always try to remember to do, is to take my keys and physically put them in my backpack. Because, excuse me, I think I just spit food. Because you go through your pockets a lot. I got my phone, sometimes I got a notepad, and you go through your pockets, and the last thing you want to do is go through your pockets, pull your hands out, and unknowingly drop your keys somewhere when you're hiking. So in my backpack, I'm not going to go in that zipper, and I know that when I get back to my car, I'll have keys, because lots of things can be replaced pretty easily, albeit expensive if it's a phone. But keys are a day ruiner. Keys can be a month ruiner if you lose them, and then you have to get new keys and get a tow, and it's just, yeah. So make sure your keys are in a secure location. One of the parts I love about hiking this escarpment in particular is that it goes from mud to algae to grass to rock. It's like the earth is pushing the rocks out of the ground around you, and it just adds a interesting dynamic. If you're using these trails to run, it adds some obstacles in your way. Even if you're just hiking like I am, you still got to step over them, and there's a ruggedness, there's a beauty to it that I really do love about these trails. For those who don't know, this would mean that you're currently on this path and you're going to do a little dogleg left. So that's how you follow that. If this was on the right hand side, it would be go right. That's how you use those markers. I came up to this sign. You usually see these at the end of trails asking you to brush off your boots, because you don't want to bring invasive species with you wherever you're going. If some seeds or something gets stuck to your shoe and then you go walking another trail that doesn't have garlic mustard, buckthorn, or dog strangling vine, you've now brought it to a new place, a new forest, right? That they now have to work on getting rid of it. So use the shoe brush to brush off your feet at the end of your hike. Or I guess in this case, during your hike. That is the snowshoe trail up there. Oops, almost fell. That's a snowshoe trail, but we are following the orange blaze here. Not to be confused with the blue, which is the Bruce trail, side trail. So following orange all the way to the top and then back again. These are one of my favorite phenomena in a forest. I see them basically, well, most hikes that I go on. I'm not going to say every, but I see them on most hikes. These branches that have looped down for whatever reason. Sometimes humans do them. Sometimes I don't think a human did that. They remind me of like a door or a portal to somewhere else. And if you walk through them. And so that's pretty much inaccessible, so I'm not going to, but I just love seeing these features wherever I go. And I come across them often. So, and I thought I was just going crazy at first when I started noticing them. I'm like, am I really seeing these as much as I thought? Yep, I am. They're everywhere. And if you know why that happens, that has nothing to do with humans, please let me know. I made a wrong turn. I don't know how I did that. I guess I just got distracted. It happens at least once a hike. Just retrace your steps. All good. There's no wasted time on a trail in a forest. Wow, this is... Oh, already. I keep almost slipping. Already it's getting quite steep. Attention hikers, please do not hike in drainage ditches. Yeah, that's often very good advice. The issue, not the issue, but an obstacle here is that it's springtime and there's been a lot of rain. There's been snow even as of yesterday. And so the trails are still quite mucky, which means you are ripe for slipping. And so sometimes it's actually easiest if you go down sideways. It just helps you catch your balance if you slip. There's all these tiny, tiny creeks that run down the side of the mountain. And they go doo-doo-doo down through here, underneath this pipe, or through the pipe rather, and out the other side. And that just continues basically all the way down the mountain because water has to flow downward, obviously. And so there's those ditches that also allow for water drainage. Super muddy over here. Okay, now officially I'm on the only trail that can take us to Rattlesnake Point. There's no getting mixed up now until I get to the other cluster of trails. They've got this beautiful walking path. Sometimes these can be a little bit janky, but not this. This is impeccably built. Attention, you are now leaving Crawford Lake and entering Rattlesnake Point. This trail does not loop back. You have been warned. I feel like I should have been there's a border crossing and somebody should have taken my passport. But yeah, we've now left Crawford Lake. And still the bridges and paths impeccable. Halton Conservation does an amazing job here. Cold water streams are important as they support habitat for fish that are dependent on clean cold water that is full of oxygen. So apparently we can see brook trout in here. A native species of trout, cold water. Spawning occurs between September and November, which I have heard is very cool to witness. But right now, Not so much. Not a lot of action. I'm sure it's too low. Okay, as I came off that walkway, I've approached the first real uphill battle of this hike. This is steep. This is where rocks and roots are actually your friend, because they don't allow your feet to slip out like I just did there. You use them as support. All right, there's more uphill to come. It's pretty steep, and I could feel myself already getting hot. So, jacket comes off as of now, and a drink of water before I continue on. Onward. Okay, I'm a pretty fit guy. I'm only 35, not that old. And this is actually my birthday hike. Did I mention at the beginning? I don't think I did. But that was tough. That was great. Great hill climb. Calves are on fire. Whew, okay. So, this is what we've done so far. It's a very old sign, but it says approximately 75-minute hike to Crawford Lake Visitor Center. That's if you're walking pretty slow. I'm not a fast hiker, but that wasn't 75 minutes. No way, Jose. Well, everyone goes at their own pace. Okay, good, I'm back. Something cool that I've noticed since now I've gotten to a peak is that the trees up here are starting to have little leaves. They've moved from buds to leaves. Slowly but surely, spring arrives. If that is not a sign of optimism, I don't know what is. It's one of the best parts about spring hiking is you could just sense the nice weather that's coming. Also, there's no bugs in the spring. 0 bugs. You're not walking into spider webs. No mosquitoes. I'm pretty sure there's not even any ticks right now. So, because it still gets below freezing at night. Can't really beat April in terms of hiking, and you don't get too hot. So, winds all around. I love seeing trees like this. It's spooky. It's a spooky tree. And it's got woodpecker holes all throughout it. And that big mouth at the top. I don't know if you can see that because of the sun. But there's a big mouth at the top. You almost feel like if it was at nighttime and you came across that tree under the moonlight, that it might come alive. That it might try to spook you. Oh, here we go. Here comes some beauty views. This is the payoff. Who am I kidding? The whole thing is a payoff. The whole hike is an adventure. But I mean, yeah, That's what it's all about, guys. That's why people love. Oh, hello. If my wife was here, she would know what you are. Dang, take a look at this. Look at it. Just ripped straight out of the ground. Like Paul Bunyan himself came here and just ripped it right out. Make it into an axe. Enormous. I'll give you an idea of how big it is. I'll take a picture beside it down there. Look at that cliff. This rock. Looks like Pride Rock. Is that what it's called in Lion King? Where the monkey, Rafiki, holds up Simba. This is like the Southern Ontario version of that. That's a nice rock. All right, let's see what we're coming up to here. So we can go to actually either way will take us to Rattlesnake, except I want to go right here, Buffalo Crag Trail, because there's a Buffalo Crag lookout. It's actually in that direction. So I'm going to go this way. Ah, yes, I can see it. There's a little hut that welcomes you to Buffalo Crag Lookout. Also, what a great name that is. It sounds like too good. Like it should be in a movie or a book or something. Have I seen you at Buffalo Crag Lookout? Did we meet at Buffalo Crag Lookout? Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so apparently you can do rock climbing here. That's cool. I've actually seen people do this, not at this particular lookout, but another one around here. There's brown bats, hooded warbler, fossils. Okay. Oh my. Now we're talking. So you can see those little hooks where the mountain climbers would hook into before they go down, I guess. And they would climb up over the edge. That is something that I would do. I would pay somebody to take me to do that. Let me see if I can get a look at it by extending my pole here. I'm not sure what you saw, but that's what's there. Oh, cool, an egg. Oh, that is very cool. That is a large egg. That is a very large egg. Do you guys have any idea what that would be? Because I don't. And I'm definitely gonna have to look that up later. That's a big egg. Turkey vulture, maybe? Some type of a hawk or an eagle? I have no idea. I'll look it up later. So we've just about made it. We're at the parking lot. 644 acres. Been open since 1962. Amazing. So this is where I actually came from, Nascawea Canyon Trail. That will take me all the way back. Well, it doesn't show it, but it'll go to Crawford Lake. So almost 10K there and back. And I've gone on a couple of side quests, so that helps. There's a lookout right ahead of me. How nice. Look, beautiful stone walls. Hi.
Yeah, we're gonna go through there.
Hello. Oh man. Look at that. This never gets old. I've come here before, and this never gets old. You just sit up here and think. Or just not think at all, actually. Just do nothing. That's also a good option. Do nothing. Look at that. Beautiful. And essentially it's just this all the way. Like you can go to another lookout point down there, which I've done before, and it kind of starts to go down again, so I won't. But yeah, it's just these beautiful walls the whole way and amazing views. About as high of a view as you're gonna find naturally in southern Ontario. This is it. This is cool. So if you go to the edge here, you can see right down to this huge crevice in the earth. The rocks split. And unfortunately there's some garbage there too. You can go on the other side of the wall. Look at that. They're disposing of trees. They're chopping up trees. They're mulching them behind. So that's what that sound is. But a point that I wanted to make about where I am right now is that I'm only like an hour outside of Toronto. Maybe not even, depending on what you consider Toronto. And I know that it sounds like there's a lot of construction behind me, because there is, but I have not, for about an hour and a half, I didn't see one person. I didn't hear anything other than my own footsteps and talking to you guys. Point being is that you can go from the third biggest city in North America, and in under an hour you can be somewhere like this and get totally lost in nature. And I believe there are bus/train routes that can get you pretty darn close to here. So you're never far in southern Ontario from these beautiful views and solitude and time to just be away from people and breathe in the fresh air and get the sun on your skin. And this is exactly how I want to spend my birthday. I took the day off work, even though my birthday was technically 4 days ago. I took today off work, which is a Thursday, and then we have tomorrow off in Canada for Good Friday and the start of the Easter weekend celebrations. And so I took Thursday off, and I said I'm just going to come here by myself and chill. I just saw a turkey vulture fly like right here, right on top of this stone wall. If you want to get a sense for how high up we are, well, basically we're at turkey vulture level. And so begins the hike back. 4.7 kilometers on this beautiful late morning. It's like 10 degrees right now, 11 degrees Celsius. Hard to beat this in April, man. Hard to beat this. There's nothing more infuriating than dog poo in a plastic bag on a trail in a conservation park. Dog poo anywhere that's not in a bag in somebody's hand is annoying. But there's a particular annoyance that comes with it being in a conservation area. Just left there with a piece of gum on top. It's one of the most ignorant and selfish things you can do whilst walking on a trail as beautiful as the ones that we're on. And even if it weren't that beautiful, it doesn't matter. It's just inexcusable. So there's my PSA. Don't do it. Oh, I love this tree. I saw it on the way up and there was a bunch of people here, so I didn't really want to film. But I love this tree. It looks like it's coming out of the ground and it's got great big arms. And it's got a face up there with a mouth. And it's very spooky. Love it. This is awesome. And in case you can't tell, I took off my hat actually, just to get the sun on my head, because I always get uneven tan lines in the summertime because I'm always wearing a ball cap. So this year I was like, I don't want to get those tan lines. So learn to go. I gotta get my head acclimatized to the sun, right? And then you won't get burned. But anyway, in case you couldn't tell, I really like imagining spooky things when... Oh, a snake. Hello. A garter snake. All right, attention. You are now leaving Rattlesnake Point and entering Crawford Lake. This trail does not loop back. So I'm going to follow the orange. And then you remember on the way out here, we saw the opposite. You were leaving Crawford Lake and you were entering Rattlesnake Point. And so I guess we're in a liminal space in between two worlds, two borders, two countries, two conservation areas, ultimately, right now. So we're in no man's land. And if I remember correctly, yes, we are going to be doing a lot of downhill up until we get to that boardwalk again. So here it is. So right behind me is that catwalk that says you are now leaving Crawford Lake and going to Rattlesnake Point. And so I've crossed over worlds. I'm officially back fully into Crawford Lake territory. And now I know I've got a little bit of an uphill climb ahead of me, but it's very beautiful and very quiet down here. So I do not mind. And I also know that I'm in the home stretch. Maybe 1.5 kilometers to go, something like that. I have no idea. We'll see. Doesn't matter. Onward and literally upward. So I just saw a sign that said access to visitor center 920 meters. So I am nearing the end. I'm in the last kilometer, not even. Then I'll have a nice sandwich and a nice drink. Wrap this hike up. Ooh, I can almost taste the drink. So close. Still have some more hill to climb. Well, this is a nice feeling. I'm in a t-shirt. Yeah, I was sweating too much, so I had to take it off. But this is a good milestone because I don't think I've been in a t-shirt for a hike yet this year.
So this is a big milestone, folks. Oh, it feels good. That wind is nice and cool. I hear what sounds like many murders happening ahead of me simultaneously, which can only mean one thing. No, there's not actual murders happening ahead of me. It means that at least one school group is here. Because the yells that these kids have, if you didn't know any better, if this was nighttime, you'd think somebody wasn't making it out of these woods alive. Let's just put it that way. And that up there is why you show up early to conservation areas when it's school days, when school's in session, because you avoid all that chaos. Not that I'm complaining. I love seeing kids out here exploring nature, but it doesn't provide the most quiet of settings to enjoy things like this. All right, these are the luxury bathrooms. Look at that. Pooping at a conservation area does not get any more luxurious than that. I'm kidding, it does. I'm gonna head over here to sit in the sun and eat my lunch. Scratch that, it was wet over there, so I'll come right here and eat my lunch. And actually, I'm gonna take off my shoes as well and do a little bit of grounding, which I like to do after a long hike or just in general. I've got another one of those ham and Swiss croissants and a sapsucker. These are great after a hike. They're 35 calories. They're sap from Canada. All it is carbonated water, sugar, and organic natural flavor and citric acid. So a little bit of sugar boost, a little bit of electrolytes after a hike. Salute. Okay, well, that about wraps it up. I am just going to sit here for a couple more minutes in the sun, soak it all in, relax, and then just about time to head home, pick up my daughter from school, and get this long weekend underway for the rest of the family. So thank you, as always, guys, for watching. And I think I've got at least one more hike in me over the long weekend. So expect another video after this one's uploaded very shortly. Yeah, thank you, as always. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Take care.